Okay. So this is my Japanese maple tree. There we go. It tipped over a little bit, but you get the idea. It's going to go into the ground over here. Okay. The trick with planting Japanese maple trees and most other plants is you got to dig the hole a little bit deeper and a little bit bigger than the pot size, because the idea is that instead of filling it back in with all the soil, topsoil that you dug out, you're going to put in some sphagnum moss and a little bit of organic matter. This raised bed that I made was basically all topsoil that I put inside of here, just so that it was more of a building material as opposed to good organic soil. So as you can see, I gave it a nice little bed of sphagnum moss. I cleaned out the roots a little bit, and so yeah, I'm just gonna go put this all back together. And I'm thinking that I need to figure out which way is gonna be the front of the tree. And as you can see, it's got a really nice kind of root structure with like a little gap down here. So I'm going to try and make that the ground level, so it's kind of exposed a little bit, gives a little bit of interest from the bottom all the way up to the top. So yeah, there it is. In my other videos I usually use like a hoe or something, but because it's the Japanese maple and it's so sensitive, I'm just turning the ball and just basically loosening it all by hand. So I'll just turn it and do it like that. Just kind of loosen all the soil around it, because what you want it to do is let the roots kind of spread. Where the roots have kind of been exposed, you see how they're all kind of like hanging down like that? That's what you want. You want it so that they're all kind of like getting ready to go into the new soil. And at the sides here, you just want to do the same thing. You just want to kind of like loosen up all of these roots. At the top, you want to clear all this stuff out, and then you'll see what it looks like kind of when I'm done. But I want to give you like a little update of how it's coming along. So yeah, just kind of like use your hands just to gently do it. You don't want to break too many of the roots, because if you do, it'll cause a little bit more shock to the tree, which you don't want. So after I've loosened up that root ball, you can see kind of what's left. I just plumped it down on the ground, but it's like basically that size, just buried a little bit. But you can see here, while I was digging around with my hands, careful not to damage them, of course, because you know, you're just using your hands. You don't need to go to town on this. But you see those two big roots there? I'm going to leave those two exposed a little bit. It's going to give the tree a little bit more age, and it'll give it kind of like a buttress once it starts to grow. So, and they're kind of nice. They give it like a little bit more character. Like I said, from the top to the bottom, it looks interesting. So this is kind of where it's situated now. You can see it's got a nice healthy top. The middle needs a little bit of work. We'll work on that in the next couple of years. And then you got a little bit down here about the midway, and then down at the bottom you got like these nice kind of like roots. So yeah, that's basically what it is, and I'll go fill it in. You'll see the final product. There's a Japanese maple going in. And again, I've been watering it as I go along, just make sure nothing dries out. I'll just backfill it with the soil that I found those gladiolas in, and you never know, maybe I'll have some gladiolas growing around it. Cool. So this is a day later, and here's the bottom of the tree. I just gave it a good soak. There we are going up. You can see the leaves haven't really suffered. It's a good sign that it hasn't gone into shock. And it's a little bit of a rat's nest in there, but not so bad. But I'm going to leave the tree alone. It's gone through a lot in the last little bit. So I'm going to just leave it the way that it is. I'll go trim it up probably, maybe in the fall, or probably, most likely the spring. Just kind of like let it do its own thing. So you can see now that the bottom of the tree, all the way up to the top of the tree, is doing well. This is now 2 weeks after I've planted it. It's, yeah, it's doing quite well. All the leaves you can see are not wilting. They're all quite happy and spread. The bottom, about those roots and all that stuff, are just buried by a little sand and those pine needles, but I'm gonna clear all that stuff out after and just give it a you know, a little bit of a cleaning, I guess it would be.